So, the later models 500, 600 have this system called integrated modular avionics, which is a concept that arose in the late 80s, not specifically for the ATR, or generally for aircraft. And if you think of it like apps on your phone, where it enables you to have one common generic module, one phone, which has an acquisition and command processes, which with several independent applications that can be hosted on this phone. All right, it's the same principle here. The main so we have two CACs. I'm going to refer to them as, the name is unfortunate, but that's what it is. It's called a CAC. CAC1 and CAC2 is a Core Avionics Cabinets, which hosts all the modules, all the apps. All right, the main applications hosted by these CACs are the flight warning application. I'll just highlight them. Flight warning applications, the autoflight control application, which is the autopilot. Okay, the centralized maintenance application, only in CAC1, this one. And the data concentration, the DCA, the data concentration app. Okay. CAC1 and 2 communicate with 5 display units. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens. And the job of these CACs is basically to take all the information from all the aircraft systems, pass them through all the processors and whatever, and put up, display what needs to be displayed on whichever screen. Okay, so the way they do that, and they do it through transferring data in different formats. Okay, they use AFDX, which is Avionics Full DupleX Switched Ethernet, AFDX. They use ARINC 429. ARINC is a acronym, American Radio Incorporated, which is a system of data transfer. They use analog connectivity, and they also use discretes. This analog is of increasing variation, like voltage is an analog transfer of a signal. Discretes are more on-off signals, ones and zeros. They're not digital. Discretes are switches that are on or off, okay, for the purposes of engaging the services of an app or part of an app or not. Okay, by using this method, we can save miles and miles in electrical cable, and therefore weight, and therefore money. And that's what we do. So it's a little bit tiny, this picture, I'm sorry, but it depicts the two CACs and what they can actually connect to, where they receive signals from, and where they distribute signals to. Their main aim is to distribute the information onto the 5 display units for the pilots to be able to follow. All right, so the CACs are the heart of the system, with all other LRUs, line replaceable units, communicating with one and each other for displays and functions on the aircraft. We'll talk more about the displays in the next session. Here we can see the 2 MFCs, which are multifunction computers. 1, 2 multifunction computers. They monitor, control, authorize operation of the aircraft systems. They manage system failures and flight envelope anomalies and command triggering of associated warnings. Okay, the multi-purpose computer, MPC, only one. Here, in this diagram, is showing that it enables the function of the recorder. And we'll see that in a minute. The flight data recorder. Actually, here we have it. It's the MPC. So you all heard of a black box that is in fact not black, but it's orange. So this SSFDR, this is the solid state flight data recorder. In other words, there's no moving aluminium tape like there used to be in the olden days, where the engineer had to change every 50 hours. This one is a solid state device which writes and rewrites, and unless anybody pulls the data, it just rewrites and rewrites and rewrites. Okay, we also have another one. It's called a CVR, a cockpit voice recorder, which records the voice. But we'll do that in the comms part because it's a communications system, that one. All right, so this one, as it's under indications and recording, we keep it here and we'll discuss the FDR. So as it records data in various forms, quantities, units of measurement, we actually have to go through the process to convert all of that data into a common language. So things like altitude in feet, time in hours, minutes, and seconds, aileron position in degrees, engine EGT degrees in Celsius, or if it's an American ATR in Fahrenheit, are all converted into ones and zeros in the flight data acquisition unit. Flight data acquisition unit. So all the information goes into this MPC. It gets converted into one common language in the flight data acquisition unit, ones and zeros, and then gets sent to the DFDR, okay, for storage. Okay, it also gets sent to a quick access recorder, so we can then retrieve it quickly through the use of a PCMCIA card, a flash drive, download it, and send it off to whoever needs to read it. For example, during a heavy landing, during an accident, whatever happened, somebody bumped the aircraft, they usually pull the digital data. But rather than remove the whole black box, yeah, with its drive, internal hard drive, they can pull it from the data management unit via the use of a flash drive. The data can also be sent to via ACARS to the airline or to your maintenance watch, so that they can then see what's happening and they can decide accordingly. The airline or the maintenance can decide, or the operations, what we are doing next based on that data. It can also be printed. If you request to print it by the MCDU, the multi-purpose control display unit, you can print specific data if you're on the right page. So here we can see all the interfaces that the DFDR has. All right, this is the MPC. It's just another black box, and it takes information from the CACs, from the Core Avionics cabinets, from the air data units or air data computers, from the GPS, from the AHRS, attitude heading reference system, from the MFCs, we've seen already, from the MFC, from the EEC, that's the FADEC, from the propeller electronic control, from the TCAS, traffic collision avoidance system, from the clocks, from all the display units, from the flight management system, from the radar, from the terrain avoidance warning system, from the VOR, and from the DME, from all the navs. Basically, it takes all the information, puts it in here, and translates it into a common language before it will send it out through, you can see here, there's the reference, an ARINC 573, a different data cable that will supply specifically the data to the DFDR. I call it a DFDR because it's a digital flight data recorder. just like SSFDR. Accurate time is paramount in the correct operation of the recording systems in the aircraft. Right, we do need accurate clocks. Imagine if you're trying to follow a sequence of events that led to an incident, and all the time frames on this SSFDR are out by even 1 second. Okay, 1 second of time between the bang that was heard on the cockpit voice recorder and the time the aircraft started to violently pitch up or down from the data on the printout is a lifetime. Okay, so that's why nowadays most of the aircraft have clocks that are GPS coupled. You can see here it's GPS coupled, because we know that the GPS clock is very, 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 very accurate, just to be able to eliminate these problems of having to align the time between the event and the after effects of that event. But it's not all doom and gloom. We also need it for things other than accidents, like navigation, in particular GPS. Yeah, navigation. Imagine if your aircraft is doing 240 knots an hour and you're out by a second. It's every second you're losing a bit of knots, and your calculations, your flight management system is calculating everything wrong because your hour is not a full hour. It's minus how many, however many, what is it? 60 seconds, I suppose. Yeah, it's 59 minutes. It's not an hour. Okay, so you need to have accurate clocks. That's why we couple them to the GPS system. Back to the SSFDR. So the unit itself, it encloses two sub-assemblies. One is the data processing part, and one is the crash protected memory part, which is placed on the equipment handle side here. All right, this box is really, really robust, and it's very strong, and it's designed like this. It's designed orange so we can find it easily in the snow or in the dark or underwater when something happens. But it's also very, very strong, so that it can withstand the impact of a potential accident or hitting or whatever. It has sufficient memory and capability to provide a crash survivable record of the most recent 50 hours of flight data preceding the crash event. Okay, so you're flying around, it's just recording and re-recording and re-recording. So as soon as something happens where there's an impact, just like your airbag, if it's an impact of a specific strength, okay, a switch inside this will switch it off, stop the recording, so that it doesn't get overwritten. All right, in case, let's say the aircraft crashed, the battery is still operational, this is still operational, it's still recording, and the accident gets overwritten, that's not a possibility, because it will switch off in the case of an accident or impact above a certain level. Okay. There's also an underwater locating beacon. Okay, this thing here on the front face of the SSFDR. This enables recovery of the SSFDR if an aircraft sunk in deep water. So upon immersion into water, you can't really see it very clearly, but there's a metal part here, and then there's another ring around here. And when it gets contacted with water or immersed into water, this thing conducts the center and the ring. And once it conducts, it transmits a 37.5 kilohertz signal for up to 30 days, so that it can be received by a hydrophone located on search boats. for example, and they can go and find it where it is from the bottom of the ocean. Something similar to that Malaysian 777 that crashed that nobody never found because it took so long to find the approximate location where it might be. The battery, which is supposed to be enough for 30 days, was no longer enough. And therefore they have lost all access to it now, apparently. All right, so the location of the SSFDR or black box is in the safest area on the aircraft. We want it to survive any accidents, crashes, whatever. In this case, it's in the aft equipment bay here. Okay, and that's where it lives. It just sits there, it does its job, it records everything, and if anybody needs anything, we can retrieve it in the cockpit from the short-term recording devices, or we can retrieve the whole unit here and send it away for reading, and replace it with another unit until the data has been read by the people that need to read it. Okay, now we're on the topic of this. As a general rule, just observe all the ESDS recommendations, electrostatic devices. Okay, they're all in force today, and we know they're all susceptible to damage and can vary from a slight degrading of a function to complete destruction depending on the discharge rate. Imagine you've aircraft has crashed, we've retrieved the black box, this SSFDR, and through stupidity and not obeying the rules, we've wiped all the data because we've done something stupid and static electricity has blown it, so to speak. Okay, so that's something that we have to take care of.